Right now, somewhere on Earth, over 1 billion people will light something on fire, breathe in the smoke, and feel calm. That sounds insane when you say it out loud. Smoke is one of the oldest danger signals known to any living creature. Animals flee from it. Insects evacuate hives the second they smell it. Every nervous system on this planet evolved to treat smoke as one thing: get away. And yet humans do the opposite. We seek it out. We inhale it on purpose. We've done it for so long that entire economies, rituals, and religions were built around it. So here's the question that should bother you more than it does. When did a species that's terrified of fire decide to breathe it? Personal stakes. Imagine you're standing in a forest 60,000 years ago. Lightning has just split a tree in half. Smoke is rolling across the ground in thick grey waves. Every animal nearby is already running, birds scattering upward, deer bolting into the dark. But one creature isn't running. It's crouching low, eyes narrowed, watching the smoke curl into the air. And for some reason, it's leaning closer. That creature is an early human ancestor, and what happens next will shape the next 60,000 years of human behavior, ritual, addiction, medicine, and even the way we cope with stress today. The big question. So why would a species hardwired to avoid smoke evolve into a species that craves it? That's the real mystery here. Not just when did smoking start, but why did a survival instinct get hijacked into a ritual? To answer that, we have to go back further than cigarettes, further than tobacco, further than recorded history itself. Layer 1, the first clue. Anthropologists studying ancient hearths, the burnt remains of campfires going back over 1 million years, noticed something strange. These weren't just cooking fires. Some had unusually small, contained burn patterns, patterns that didn't match cooking, patterns that looked deliberate, controlled, almost ceremonial. That sounds nothing until you realize what it implies. Someone wasn't just using fire to survive. Someone was using fire to feel something. Layer 2, the surprising fact. Here's where it gets stranger. Long before tobacco existed as we know it, ancient humans were already inhaling smoke from burning plants, not for taste, but for effect. Archaeological evidence from sites in the Americas, Africa, and Asia shows traces of psychoactive plant residue in smoking tools dating back over 3,000 years. But some researchers believe the behavior, inhaling smoke from specific plants, goes back even further, possibly tens of thousands of years, which means smoking didn't start with addiction. It started with something else entirely. Layer 3, the mystery deepens. Early smoke rituals weren't recreational, they were spiritual. Shamans in early human societies used smoke to enter altered states, communicating with ancestors, treating illness, marking rites of passage. The smoke wasn't the point, the experience was. Here's the unsettling part. The human brain has receptors, specific docking stations in our neural wiring that respond almost perfectly to compounds found in burning plants like tobacco and others used ritually. Nicotine, for example, binds to receptors normally activated by a chemical your own brain already produces naturally, acetylcholine. In other words, your brain was already built with a lock. Ancient humans just happened to find the key. The scientific explanation. This is where evolutionary biology gets genuinely eerie. Nicotine doesn't just feel good by accident. It hijacks a system your brain uses for focus, memory, and stress regulation. When inhaled, it reaches the brain in under 10 seconds, faster than nearly any other method of drug delivery known to science. 10 seconds. That's faster than the time it took you to read this sentence. Early humans weren't chemists. They didn't understand neurotransmitters or dopamine pathways, but they didn't need to. They just noticed, this plant, when burnt and breathed, changes how I feel. And once something changes how you feel that fast, it doesn't take long for ritual to turn into routine. Bigger implication: human history. By the time agriculture and early civilizations emerged, smoking had already transformed from spiritual ritual into social currency. Tobacco changed hands like gold in early American trade. Opium smoke shaped entire dynasties in Asia. European explorers who encountered indigenous smoking rituals in the 1500s didn't just witness a habit, they witnessed something they'd never seen before in their own culture. A substance so psychologically powerful it crossed oceans and rewired global trade within decades. Within 100 years of European contact with tobacco, smoking had spread across multiple continents. Not because anyone marketed it, because the human brain did exactly what it was built to do. Unexpected insight. But here's the detail that should genuinely unsettle you. Smoking isn't actually about smoke. It never was. It's about a behavior pattern your brain already had, a reward loop tied to repetition, focus, and stress relief that happened to find an extremely efficient trigger. In a way, ancient humans didn't invent smoking. They discovered a switch that was already wired into them. Which raises an uncomfortable question. What other switches are sitting inside your brain right now, just waiting for the right trigger to find them? Emotional conclusion. So when did ancient humans start smoking? The honest answer is earlier than almost anyone assumes, and for reasons far stranger than pleasure. It didn't start as a vice, it started as a question. An ancient human, crouched near a dying fire, noticing something invisible drifting through smoke, something that made the mind feel different, lighter, sharper, altered. And somewhere in that moment, without knowing it, that human touched a part of their own biology that had been waiting silently since before language, before fire, before consciousness itself fully woke up. Maybe that's the real story here. Not that humans learned to smoke, but that the human brain has always been full of locked doors, and every so often, completely by accident, we find a key.